Netlinked Weekly intro. Welcome to an Action News Netlinked Weekly. I'm your host, Linus Sebastian, and today we will be having a look at what's hot, awesome deals, and tips and news for the NCIX website, as well as other things. So, it's time for part 2 of the back-to-school sale. As usual, I am hidden somewhere in the banner, and honestly, neither Slick nor I was able to find it at all, which isn't to say that you won't be able to find Slick at PAX. So he will be in the Bring Your Own Computer LAN section with a water-cooled 800D, and he's really tall, so he won't be difficult to find. You should go say hi and tell him that you love his camera work on NCIX Tech Tips, or that you hate it, depending on how you feel. All right, moving right along, we've got our top deals of the week. Corsair Vengeance 1500 USB gaming headset for only $59.99 after a mail-in rebate. Corsair Carbide 300R gaming case for only $59.99. This is an awesome case for the price, guys. I love this case. It's got room for dual 140mm fans in the top, in the front, two 140s on the side, 120 in the back, just tons of cooling potential for 60 bucks. Killer case. We've also got a 560, yes, gigabyte 560, so not even like ghetto 560. It's got like an awesome dual fan cooler for 120 bucks after a mail-in rebate. That's pretty much the best value graphics card you can get like at all right now. Kingston HyperX memory, DDR3 1600 8 gig kit for only $38.99. Yes, that's less than $10. That's less than $5 per gig. It's like nothing. And yes, the Rally 2 32 gig drive is back as a top deal because it's even cheaper now at $7 after a $10 MIR for a 32 gig USB drive. To give you guys some idea how hot this deal is, since this was live a few days ago, hundreds and hundreds of them have been sold, so get one while they're still around because they're not going to last forever. Actually, before we get into this, we have a special guest which is somewhat related to Slick's attendance of PAX, which is going to be next week, and that will be his friend, whose name I actually don't yet know, but here he is. So welcome Harrison to the show. Come on in, Harrison. Let's give him a TV round of applause. Yeah, just me. Thank you, Slick, for participating. Okay, so Harrison is going to be our special guest in that he is okay. Well, no, I'm not going to change it. Slick thinks I should change it to this slide. Okay, well, we'll talk about this later. And maybe you want to talk about this too. It's totally up to you. But we are going to be asking a genuine NCIX customer who I have never met before this day when Slick insisted that we had to take my car to go pick him up at the airport. Tell me about your first, he doesn't know what the questions are. Tell me about your first NCIX shopping experience.
First NCIX shopping experience, I'll never forget it actually. It was with Slick and it was an 800D.
Really? So that's not that long ago then?
It wasn't that long ago actually. What would that be, 3 years ago now?
Okay.
And it's fantastic. I was living on Victoria Island, just off the coast, and ordered online.
Okay.
Perfect customer service. Delivered 2 days later.
2 days later.
It's great.
Okay, that's good. I think he meant Vancouver Island, maybe in Victoria, but that's okay. He tried really hard, which goes to show you that he's not a professional actor who memorized a script or anything like that. So tell me where you did all your computer shopping before that.
Geez, before that I wasn't really into computer shopping too much. It was just going to Future Shop, Best Buy, and listening to the sales rep and whatever they had to say I'd listen to.
Okay, so who brought you over to the light side then, I guess?
That would have to be Slick.
That would have to be Slick. So these guys have known each other. How long have you known Slick?
3 years now.
3 years now. You guys, how'd you meet? How'd you meet?
Got in university.
In university,
yeah.
Okay. So they met in university. I realized I'm wearing the mic, so it's possible. Is he picking him up okay? Yeah, Slick's giving me the thumbs up. Okay. So what was the first game that you really got into?
First game that I really got into would have to be League of Legends.
League of Legends,
okay. That was the first one that really became, passionate about it, let's say.
Is that the one that made you really build a gaming machine? Or did you build a gaming machine and then get into a game? Yeah,
I built a gaming machine and then got into a game. It was a little backwards.
Okay, well, you know what? It's funny because I was exactly the same way, where I got into, I was playing Warcraft 2 at the time that I built my first decent gaming machine with an all-in-wonder 9600 Pro. And then I was then I started playing Counter-Strike Source because that's around the time that came out. So I actually put the cart before the horse in exactly the same way you did. So what was your most recent NCIX shopping experience?
Most recent, I purchased a 560 Ti. Was about 2 months ago.
Which one do you go with?
The overclocked. No, not the overclocked. Jeez.
Brand?
Oh, MSI.
Sorry. MSI. Okay. Did you go with what?
Twin Frozen.
Slick's telling me which one it was, so apparently it was a Hawk Edition. Does that sound right?
Edition was the Hawk Edition.
I
know, right?
I'm not interviewing you. Okay, and I heard you're going to buy a new graphics card while you're here this time.
Yep, looking at the 660 Ti.
A 660 Ti, again, MSI. So is there a particular reason that you're looking at that card?
Particular reason? Yeah, it'd have to be the overclocking of it and how comparable it is to 680.
Okay, and that's probably something that Slick fed to you as well, because he was there actually when we were doing all of our testing on that card. So I apologize for this being like a two-way interview, but he just can't butt out of this. So you know what? Hey, thanks for coming on. Is there anything else you want to... Actually, why don't you weigh in on this, just for giggles? We're going to talk about it in our next segment, which we've already shot anyway. So I've already done my bit. But tell us what you think about the ruling today that Samsung has to pay Apple $1 billion.
No, like we spoke about earlier, I can't believe that Apple wanted that. I mean, a couple of the things I agreed with the pinch to zoom in and whatnot, where Samsung copied Apple. But other than that, I didn't think it was really a valid win for Apple. Okay, so tell me, are you a Samsung fanboy? Show me your phone. Do you have your phone in your pocket? I do, actually. I do, and
it's
an iPhone.
He's
an iPhone.
He's one of us. One of us. One of us. Slick, put your phone away. No one cares about your Samsung phone. So thank you for joining us today and being such a good sport.
Thanks so much.
Harrison, what a guest. It's great to have the customer perspective on what we're doing here at NCIX. So big thanks to him for coming out. Although he's not really here to see me. He's more here to see Slick and go to PAX. Don't forget you can harass them both at PAX. So good news. Right. Our Netlinked Weekly news topic of the week. So Samsung has been ordered to pay Apple $1 billion. No, like real dollars, like real money, like today. And our Tech Tips Live was going to be, whose side are you on in all of this? What did you guys think? I only gave 2 options, which is funny because at least a quarter of the respondents came back with a third option that I didn't bring up at all. So I said, who do you think is right, Apple or Samsung? So at the time of the cutoff, we had 18 saying Samsung. And I gotta say, guys, a lot of the people who replied Samsung, the impression I got is this was a very emotional response and not actually related to some of Apple's claims, which it could be argued, as you can clearly be seen from the payout, could be legitimate. However, some of them were very well reasoned, saying, well, you can't patent, a rectangle, which is valid enough, okay? So we had only 11 weigh in that they thought Apple was correct. However, 12 respondents came up with their own response entirely, and honestly, most of these were the most well-reasoned responses, saying neither of them are correct. They're basically acting like a couple of 3-year-olds on the playground fighting over who's right. Is it this outdated, archaic patent system that's honestly stifling innovation in big ways? Or is it, I came up with this, so why is someone else making a bunch of money on it? I mean, you could argue both ways, but they're both being a little bit immature about it, and I don't think there's really much debate to be had about that. So, I mean, let's see. Yeah, Le Joker, for example, at Ryan Brooks, Ryan with 2 A's. I don't think anyone spells it that way, Ryan, but I'm sorry to hear that. Neither. Apple needs to stop having a bleeping war with Samsung and turning every minor detail into a lawsuit. There's actually another really good one that I saw. So Samsung, Apple doesn't own all smartphones. See that? Hard to say because Apple does own some of the design aspects of their own smartphones, which could be argued that, people are kind of... I mean, see this one. Samsung, this is from Azam Al-Brittani. Samsung, because Apple weren't the first company to use their design, so why should they be the last? Well, because they came up with it. It's like inventing anything where, you should have at least a period of time, whether it's a drug or a telephone or whatever else the case may be, to make a couple bucks on it before someone else comes and, clones it. Really depends how they argue it, solely based on evidence, which isn't a real thing, and Samsung, pointless to quibble, copying the iPhone. Both acted like idiots, but Apple in a much bigger way. So I wasn't really sure how to interpret that one. That's from Gabriel de Moraes. Apple needs to keep creative. I mean, okay, there's a couple different ways to look at this. Can you just invent something, patent it, and then rest on your laurels forever? No, I don't agree with that. But can you wait for someone else to invent the drinking cup and come up with your own drinking cup for, $100 cheaper the next day, and then basically put whoever actually invested the money into inventing the drinking cup out of business? No, I don't think that's right either. I think it's very gray, and it's going to be a long time before we see a clear resolution to this whole patent law thing. But in the meantime, hey guys, read a few articles, because it's really interesting what's going on here between these two absolute giants, Apple and Samsung. Thank you for checking out this week's episode of Netlinked Weekly, and don't forget to subscribe for more episodes of Netlinked Weekly, as well as all the other great videos we do here on NCIX Tech Tips.